Hello, grade 6 students. How are you doing? Welcome to the science lecture video number 7. This will be the last one for this semester. In this lecture, we'll keep talking about animal reproduction. As you know, reproduction is the process by which a living organism makes or creates a likeness of. The process may be either asexual, meaning that an organism reproduces by itself alone, or sexual, which requires both male and female sex cells. Let's start talking about these two types of reproduction in detail. Reproduction doesn't necessarily require male and female sex cells. Some organisms reproduce by themselves. It's one organism that reproduces on its own. So, one mother cell creates two daughter cells. Paramecium and bacteria reproduce asexually by binary fission. It's when a constriction appears in the middle of the cell and splits it in two. So, one parent creates two daughter cells that are identical to their parent. So again, asexual reproduction doesn't require the participation of two partners. It's one individual, one organism that reproduces on its own. Sexual reproduction requires the participation of two partners, male and female. Males produce sperms, which are the male cells. Females produce ovumes, which are the female cells. Fertilization happens when the ovum and the sperm combines, leading to an egg cell called zygote. So the sperm cell combines with an egg cell or an ovum to create a zygote. This zygote will develop into a young animal that will be similar to both parents. It's not identical to any, but it is similar to both parents. So here is the sperm moving toward the ovum. As fertilization takes place, the fertilized egg or the zygote starts dividing. Cell division continues, resulting in the growth of the embryo. And then the embryo will develop into a young animal that is similar to his parents. Most mammals grow their embryos inside the mother's bodies, and it's the mother's body that provides this embryo with its needs such as oxygen and nutrients. Such organisms are classified as viviparous organisms. So, viviparous animals or organisms hold their babies inside the mother's body and they give birth to young. They give birth to babies alive to life. The period of the development of the embryo inside the mother's body, this means when the mom is pregnant, the period of pregnancy is called the period of gestation. And this period isn't the same for all mammals. For example, for us people, the period of gestation is for 9 months, while it's for 645 days for elephant. In general, the bigger the mammal is, the longer the gestation. What about chickens? Do chickens give birth to young alive? Are they viviparous? No, they're not. Chickens are oviparous. They lay eggs. I told you that chickens are oviparous. They lay eggs. But how does reproduction in birds happen? Actually, this happens in steps. Step number 1, fertilization. The ovum or the yolk is fertilized inside the chicken's body, inside the mommy. On its way down, the yolk wraps itself with the white, the membranes, then the shell. Then the egg is laid. For the embryo to develop, the mother needs to sit on the egg to keep it warm. So the chicken sits in, and this period is called incubation. At the end of the incubation, that takes 21 days, the chicks breaks its shell and comes out of the egg. This is called hatching. Fertilization, laying of the egg, incubation, hatching. How does a bird embryo grow outside of the female's body? We said that for mammals, it's the mother's body that provides the embryo with oxygen and nutrients in order to develop this embryo. What happens in a bird egg? Does an egg have all what an embryo needs to grow and develop? Here are different parts of a fertilized egg. This is the yolk, the yellow part, the albumin, the white part, the shell, and the shell membranes. Each one of these parts has a special job in the development of the embryo outside of the female's body. The yolk carries the ovum and it's produced by the female. Here is the food supply for the embryo. So, the yolk provides the embryo with food. The albumin is a source of water and proteins for the embryo. All of these nutrients and needs are provided or delivered to the embryo through tiny blood vessels. The shell helps the embryo breathe, so the shell helps the embryo take in oxygen. The shell membranes protect and support the egg. We're almost done. Asexual reproduction doesn't require the participation of the male and female sex cells. It's just one organism that reproduces on its own. Sexual reproduction requires the participation of two partners. In mammals, the development of the embryo happens inside the mother's body. Mammals are viviparous animals. Birds are oviparous animals. Fertilization happens inside the female's body, but the development of the embryo happens inside an egg, a fertilized egg. What are the different stages of the development of a chick? 4 stages. Fertilization inside the female's body. The female lays the eggs. The female sits in. And then the chick When it's ready, it hatches from the egg. It breaks its shell and comes out of the egg. Fertilization, laying of the egg, incubation, hatching. What are two modes of animal reproduction? Asexual reproduction and sexual reproduction. How does a bacteria reproduce or a paramecium reproduce? They reproduce asexually. It's one organism that reproduces by itself. What are different parts of a bird's egg? The egg shell. This shell helps the embryo breathe and take in oxygen. The egg yolk that provides food for the embryo. The albumin that provide proteins and water to the embryo. The shell membranes that protect the embryo. Thanks for watching. For any questions, I'm always available. Bye bye.